Hello. All right, welcome to another episode of Exploring the Human Being. This episode should be the first episode where we have a sort of video presentation outlining what it is that the speaker's talking about. Uh, just for starters, you come upon a video that I suppose piques your interest, but this video is here to let you know that your interest and you are not separate things. What is your interest? Your interest is something to do in psychological time, right? In time, but in specific psychological time. And what is meant by this is that your interest, not like the interest when it comes to money, that in time something appreciates, something gets close to the goal, to the source, the desired effect. And it could be, people have different interests. People are interested in knowing whether they're extraterrestrial, flying around, spaceship, jellyfish, whether consciousness is linked to the UFO phenomenon, and whether the U.S. government is hiding a shit ton of evidence regarding the extraterrestrial phenomenon. Or your interest could be at a higher rank in a martial art, right? Going from white all the way to black and having a degree on and so on. And your interests are going to be based upon psychological time, the point at which one knows, the point at which one believes. But let me tell you, this speaker's feeling good like James Brown. I feel good. Without the dependence on the entirety of the psychological structure. That may sound unusual, but that's where we're at in terms of where it is that humanity needs to go in order to sustain itself. We're talking about seeing the whole for oneself at an instant, not dependent on view, not dependent on light, not dependent on notoriety, awards, financial rewards. Because once at an instant, psychological time is understood and seen for what it is, then all that illusion begins to fall apart. And we could see and trace, if we'd like, the evolution of humanity come into a real fulcrum between technological advancement replacing the actual evolution of the human brain, which is what you are, the brain of which certainly exists independently within different bodies, but the whole of the brain is one. That the entire of what it means to be human, you are the representative. So in what direction is psychological time going to lead you? So we're talking about time and space equivalent. Talking about space being a path. Where will this path lead humanity? And it can only lead back into itself. That's right. That means the entire, right, YouTube, you hear me? Come on now. I'm not sure where the YouTube is going to place this in the algorithm, but this is about the entirety of the YouTube repertoire, catalog, however you want to call it, inventory, repository. The human species captivating audiences with movement within psychological time. What is meant by that is one thought leads to another. That's what any episode of any channel you're watching is. Now, we still have a real liking for a professional delivery, someone who delivers, hi, I'm Dr.
Hi, I'm Dr. This. Your morning anxiety could take this step and that
Or a
step.
delivery that is not in stride with common parlance. Right? So that would be the first to establish itself, right? But that being the approach, the inclusion of the way things are done, because that's the way things have been presented throughout the 20th century through mass media presentation. Right? Certainly in-person speeches, in-person deliveries are one thing, but once the radio, television, and then the internet came about, its presentation, its host, its delivery, the prime examples are that like of HSN, all right, QVC. There's a wrestler named May who performed in the WWF, now known as WWE, and certainly his skills as a deliverer of hype or whatever a wrestler delivers played a role and a factor in him being hired at QVC, I think it was. And today his YouTube channel is successful in the sense that many people watch it. But what it is all reactionary, which is computed, which is a conditioned perspective. It's just part of a whole, right? And what does the wrestler say? He says, I was in the WWE. So when you listen to me, you're listening to someone who knows, right? So the cycle begins over and over again. And we're coming to the point where the computer is just going to be able to manifest what it is that you would like to know. But at that point, certainly we could see the beginning of the reactions by humans. The beginning, like, there's something not quite right here. There's something fake about this. There's something unreal about this. I don't like it. I prefer the real stuff. So, that's it for today. In a place where quickly psychological time is showing itself as to not leading anywhere and being useful, obviously, for a general purpose, which includes from here to there, then and now, and between this and that. All right, so what that means is just like a computer, you can have a 0 and a 1, or you can have a 1 and a 0. You can have a 1. You're going to have a 1, 1, 0, and so on. The entirety of what makes up the structure of what is presented digitally, and as well as what the conjure, is going to be founded on the principle of, let's say, relativity. And, well, that's it for today. That's about it. And what else do you want? What else do you want to know about me? About how the hell someone can come up with something like this? How odd this is? Forget about it. It will never be known. I can go on and on about the past, what happened, what didn't happen. It's going to be slightly missing and one step behind what is complete observation, which is essentially a looking without naming.